Hi, and thank you all for being here this evening. My name is Jonathan Gunter, and I'll be speaking to you on music and communication. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow said music is the universal language of mankind. Music, in regards to communication, transmits information from the performer to the audience. Using gestures and symbols and facial expressions, musicians and conductors communicate the message of the music to each other and to the listener. The universality of music is due to the divine origin of the art. Composers and musicians and conductors use music to convey a message to the audience that cannot be expressed merely in words. Music as a language. The structure of music is like literature. Words and notes, sentences and phrases, paragraphs, themes or ideas. Composers and musicians use the order of notes, phrases, and themes to convey emotion and the overall message. Music can also be a metaphor for communications. The terms can be interchangeable between music and communication. Tension and relaxation or release, crescendo and diminuendo, accelerando and retardando. These terms can explain our emotional connection and communication. As tension builds within a conversation, it may also relax in a conversation. Nonverbal aspects of music in communication. There was a study done, it's the modified lens model of communication by Jocelyn and Timmers in 2010, stated that acoustic cues can communicate emotion. A fast tempo, happiness, or anger. Fast tempo can communicate happiness or anger. But factors like the mode, the tempo, the rhythm, and the melodic contour can shape whether it's anger or happiness. So not merely the fast tempo, all of these other factors can create one or the other. In music performance, conductors and performers and audience members employ cues for communication. Inter-performer communication may be the gaze between two piano players as they play a duet, body movement by a quartet or a quintet to bring in specific parts to keep the tempo together, and also facial expressions. Kawase wrote an article about this facial and communicating with the audience, these nonverbal cues, and said that the audience picks up on the nonverbal cues from the performers. And they stated that it was a better experience for them. And I have experienced this as well. When I get excited conducting, I tend to get bigger in my conducting, and people feed off of that. Music in the church has been a very important thing since biblical times. Paul said that psalms and hymns and spiritual songs should be used in teaching and exhorting. And Luther stated that all priests should be able to not only know the Word of God, but also be able to be proficient in music so that they could teach doctrine through music. And Wesley added later that spiritual emphasis should be placed on writing songs so that there was a spiritual aspect of the music. The revivalists in America used spiritual songs as soul-winning tools to bring people into the church. Modern worship uses music to allow the churchgoers to connect in a deeper way or a deeper meaning with their faith. So, as worship leaders, what should we be saying as we lead worship? I'm not going to talk about the style that we should use. That's a personal preference. But what is the purpose of our worship? The goal in worship is the gospel, is spreading the gospel, and to disciple those who have received the gospel. We have to understand that it's a priceless gift. It's life or death. Dickinson said this: "The revival hymn may be effective in soul winning, but it is inadequate when treated as an element in a larger task of spiritual development." So our songs need to be doctrinally sound. That it's not just a tool to win people, but it's also a tool to have them further their discipleship. So, in worship and communication, we first have to make sure the types of songs are edifying, encouraging, contemplative, exalting, and fundamental. Exalting to God and fundamental in doctrine. As a worship leader, there are factors that need to be addressed in order for us to effectively share the gospel. One of those factors is dress. How should we dress so that people understand the message that we're trying to send? Our facial expressions. Kawase has already told us that facial expressions are perceived, and these gestures and cues are perceived by the audience. And body movement. All of these factors are important to the performance or the sharing of the gospel. In conclusion, many factors go into the relationship of performer and audience that help communicate the intended message. There is a fine line between manipulation and a conducive atmosphere in regards to worship. We must take into account our message, the value of that message, and the way we present the message in order to effectively reach our audience. Thank you for your time, and God bless you.